Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 46. And today, man, we're gonna talk about a few topics, but we are actually less than a week out from my show next week, Saturday, the Shine Ray Hawaiian Classic. And I did a video shoot earlier this um last week. I did a video shoot last week. And just out of curiosity, I crunched the numbers. And as of next week, I'll be like this will be my 42nd week on prep, and I didn't realize that, but I started dieting down for my show in May, like in December, January time, and then I was gonna run back and do. I was gonna run it back and do the. They were supposed to have 4 shows this year. They're supposed to have the Maui Classic, which was held here in Oahu. Then they had uh, the Kaika, which was in July, and then they had the Aloha Muscle, and then now they got the Shine ready to wrap up the season, right? Anyway, so yeah, I did the Maui Classic, took 6 in my category. That was in novice, and now we doing open in the same category, physique. Um, and I was supposed to run it back and do the show in September, the Aloha Muscle, but because of the COVID restrictions, they had to cancel the show. And so I hopped off prep for a little bit, then I jumped back on. I think sometime in I want to say like late January, I mean like late July, early August, and so so I did all that, and I was crunching the numbers. I was like, yo, you've been on prep for 42 weeks, or at that time it was 41. Like I said earlier, this upcoming week's gonna be 42, and what I've noticed is that it's hard. I mean, not that I didn't know it was hard, but it's like I didn't realize how withdrawn or how short tempered and everything I was, especially with the people I love, man. It's like, um, yeah, I think and it's very important for me to sit down with myself and to sit down with a few people and have a real conversation, and it's not because of prep or anything else going on. It's just the fact that bodybuilding takes so much out of you, your pockets, like your mental, your social life, because everything is centered around this show, and and I usually don't do small talk anyway, but when I'm on prep, it just gets magnified. I'm not really the most, I don't want to say friendly guy, but I'm not the most talkative guy to be around with, and I have my days where I can walk into the gym and not say a word to anybody and go work out for 45 minutes to an hour and fucking leave and not say one thing to anybody. And I found myself doing it more often than not. And I'm like, and I hated how I was acting because that's not normal, that's not my normal self. And I was talking to somebody who I once held in a high regard, in terms of my circle. And she said that, hey, you got to make a conscious effort to, just control it, and I told her I am, you know, and it was hard for me to do that because it's like I didn't realize how I was acting. You know what? Nah, I take that back. I knew what I was doing. I just didn't know it was like that loud, or that not even disrespectful, just boom, just in your face type of shit, right? I didn't realize it was like that, and there was an incident in the gym, and this one person that I know, she came up to me, and she said, "Hey, well, I noticed that you shaved your beard, because for the last like 3, 4, 5 months, I had a full beard, right? I was bald and I had a full beard, and I'm in the middle of my set, and She comes up to me. She says that, and I'm like, and I had to take my headphones off, and I'm like, huh? And then she said it. I'm like, I was like, wait, what? And she said it again. I'm like, I kind of looked at her like, just it's stupid. It's like, number one, you're bothering me, like during my working set, or in between my set. And number two, it's not even important. And number three, like I don't do small talk, especially in the gym. I try to limit my talking because it's like once it's around certain people, man. Once I start talking, I ain't gonna shut up. Um, but yeah, man. And so after that happened, I walked over and I apologized, like, hey, like my bad. I ain't mean to be disrespectful, you know, and like I got to do better. And remember, this person said, they said you come across so aggressive times, and like and honestly, there's no reason for you to be doing that. And I get what they were saying, and to me, it wasn't aggressive. I'm just blunt. Like I say exactly what's what I feel, and sometimes the filter doesn't get turned on in time, and you get what you get verbally. Um, but yeah, man, I gotta do a better job of this because it's like it's bodybuilding can make the most selfless person selfish. And I think with everything going on with me in prep and everything else going on is like everything kind of just blurred into one. Everything kind of just like it wasn't no reprieve from this where I'm doing one show a year, where I can kind of just okay, like this is a target date, and boom, after this we like we can go back to doing whatever we was doing before. But it was difficult because I was gonna do 3 shows, bro, and I didn't realize the mental, you know, financially I'm cool. I didn't realize the mental strain that it would have, man. I didn't realize, you know. I mean, I knew the work was that I was gonna have to put in was going to have to be, extremely well, extremely detailed and everything. But I didn't realize the cost of the mental that this shit does to you. I remember one of my favorite bodybuilders of all time, that's Dexter Jackson. I think he did 9 shows in a year. And he said it like it was so difficult, because you get hyper focused on just the goal and everything else. Like, he's like, there are days where, you don't want to talk to people. There are days where you don't want to converse with anybody, not even your girl, not, like not even your family. You just don't want to deal with anybody. And he's like, it's hard, and like, and he's like, I've blown up and everything too. And he's like, yeah, I think all of us have a few moments where we're like, if you don't leave me alone, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna blow a top, and most of the time, man, the stuff that we get angry over, it's really stupid stuff. It's stuff that's not even important. But yeah, man, next week Saturday, oof, can't wait. As you can see in my face, pretty lean for the most part. Woke up this morning, I was 146, 147, 146, and and today we started the water. We start drinking 2 gallons of water every day. I don't really look forward to that, but it works. But other thing we're gonna talk about, man, is knowing when to leave a relationship. And I think that's extremely important because a lot of us will stick around in situations where our loyalty to the person will outweigh our welcome in the relationship. Um, yeah, man. You can't force somebody to make them feel what they don't feel. You can't force somebody to see you the same way that you see them. You can't force somebody to love you, even though, and no, you shouldn't. You know, like that should never be the case. And you can't force anybody to, look at you and see your worth when they can't see their worth themselves. I was telling a partner of mine the other day. Problem with a lot of people is that they break up with the person and they end up dating the exact. They end up dating the exact version of the person in a different person. What I meant by that is, you will unconsciously look for the same traits that you're used to. So if you're used to a toxic situation, or if you're used to a situation where you're not valued or where you're not thought of as a priority, um, you're gonna subconsciously look for that because that's what you know. And what's really sad is when people treat other people like that as well, because a lot of people claim to be this or claim to be that, but in reality they're not. And the reality of the situation is that they are confused, damaged. Uh, if you want to use the term broken, they're broken individuals. And it's hard to sit there and watch that, and watch somebody else get the same get the opportunities that you wanted with that person. And you know that that person that they're with is not who they need to be with. One of my partners, he has this saying, which is very true. You can be the right package, but delivered to the wrong house. What he means is that you can be whatever, you can be the answer to their prayers and this and this and that. But if they're not ready to receive it, then what are you doing? If they're not ready to receive what you got, or if they can't deal with what you got, then you just be wasting your time, man. I think, and a lot of people will, like I said earlier, they will stay stuck in situations because they think that shit's gonna change or the thing is gonna get better, and reality is not. In reality, all you're doing is prolonging your unhappiness. And as I've always said, happiness is always an internal job. It's like you can never pour from a cup that's always empty. And if you find yourself over benefiting in relationship, take a mental note of that. Like, fall back, and if they don't text you, they don't DM you, whatever it is, now you know where you stand, you know, and don't get mad at it. Just accept it for what it is. Be fluid. Be fluid and say thank you for the lessons and keep it moving. Because the last thing that you want to do is sit there and get caught up in your feelings, and because in reality, if they cared about you the same way you cared about them, they wouldn't have done you the same. They wouldn't have done you the way they done you. And a lot of people will sit there and make excuses for shitty behavior just to justify, why they're doing what they're doing. And that could be friends, family, whatever. It's like, I used to hate it growing up when people be like, "Oh, well, like that's just how they are." I'm like, no, that's because they're fucking assholes, like, straight up. And you should never stop being a genuine person, man. Even if people do you wrong, um, I firmly believe that there are certain people who walk into your life at certain moments because what they need, you got, you know, and what you got, you know, they need. Um, never be afraid to show how you really feel about somebody because you never know. You can never. I hate to sound really dark about this shit, but it's like, yo, people die every day. You know, people die every day because of whatever reasons, and a lot of people will give you the, a lot of people will give you your flowers after you're not even here to receive them. You know, and I think it's extremely important to tell people how much you value them, even if you guys don't talk as much anymore, or you don't communicate as much anymore. It's like just send a text, you know, reach out, just whatever to say. Hey, well, even though we haven't talked in a minute, like it's all love on my end, and I think that's a big thing to a big thing to do because you don't want to wait and you don't want to have something catastrophic happen and then you can't talk to them ever again. And it's true too. If you miss somebody, call them. Call them. Don't be so damn prideful that you gonna let um situations get get in the way of what you're doing. And at the end of the day, man, people gonna be people, and you can't stop an individual from being themselves, and neither should you. You should never change up to fit into somebody else's box. We all have our own sandboxes, man. And it's like, and some of us are a little different than others, and I think the sooner you figure that out, man, the better off you'll be, because a lot of people, like I said earlier, they will stay stuck in situations, or they will constantly date, you know, the same version of people of what they used to and somebody new because of what they know. Right package, wrong house. Love y'all, man. Ghost.